built an Instagram account of over 30k followers and I'm quitting it all to go all in on YouTube in 2026. For the last couple of months, I've juggled between Instagram and YouTube. I posted a few reels a week on IG and one video every 10 days here on YouTube. But I've noticed more and more that Instagram just isn't worth my time anymore. It isn't like even 2 years ago when I started posting on Instagram. You know, back then really anyone could build a successful online business just by posting a few viral reels. But the entire online space has taken a radical shift, and with it, the way to sell through content. So in this video, I'll explain why I'm detaching my business from IG completely, why I'm choosing to go all in on YouTube, and why you should consider taking YouTube way more seriously as well. So, let's start with the problems Instagram and short-form content in general have. The first problem I noticed is that there is kind of an epidemic of trust in the whole social media space right now. You know, nowadays, everyone is a coach, everyone is trying to sell you something. And there's nothing wrong with selling. It's just that only a fraction of these offers are actually worth spending your hard-earned money on. And essentially, what all of these rip-offs did is that now people are more skeptical than ever. And there should be. Trust in online courses and digital products is at an all-time low, but I truly believe that YouTube can be the remedy of this epidemic. And I'll explain why in way more detail later on, but one of the reasons ties directly into the second big problem short-form content has. And that is that there's a huge shift happening to the content itself right now. If you look a few years back, everybody, myself included, just posted tutorials, 3 tips videos, or how to do this and that. And at the time, this worked. I mean, look at myself as an example. The majority of my followers comes from this value-based content. But fast forward to now, pure value-based content is completely dead. I mean, unless your value is super niche or very personal, you're literally competing against AI. So giving loads and loads of information and value isn't how you build trust anymore. Information has become a commodity, and as a result, people now search emotional connection with the speaker on top of learning how to solve their problems. And trust me, this is way easier to do when you have more than 60 seconds to explain your point. And by the way, if you are interested in seeing what exactly I mean by combining storytelling and value and how you can do that in your own content, I leave a couple links to some of my other videos for you to check out right after this one. And the last big problem with Instagram is that viewers are in the completely wrong state of mind. Think about it. Why do you usually scroll on Instagram? For me, it's when I want to take a break or distract myself, not when I'm actually searching for solutions to my problems. I mean, I can't think of a single time where I had a problem and went to Instagram for a solution. I always went to YouTube. And we all know that positioning your offer as a solution to your viewers' problems is the foundation of business. That's how you sell. So when the viewer watches your content when they are already in a problem-solving state of mind, this makes it so much easier for them to buy your solution. Okay. Instagram has these big problems. But why exactly does YouTube pretty much fix all of these problems? So why does it seem like the perfect choice? Well, probably the biggest reason is that long-form YouTube videos are hands down the highest ROI pieces of content out there. And the reason long-form YouTube videos have such high ROI comes down to 4 simple aspects. The first aspect is time spent with the viewer. There's this concept called the 7-hour rule, which basically says that once someone has interacted with your brand for more than 7 hours, they are so much more likely to trust you and by extension buy from you. And when you think about it, this makes perfectly sense. Just look at how you build trust with the people around you. You barely trusted them after the first time you've met them, but the more and more time you spend with them, the more and more you trusted them. Now ask yourself this, what's easier, making someone watch 7 hours worth of 30-second reels or 10 to 20 minute long YouTube videos? And what makes YouTube even more powerful is that it acts as its own ecosystem. When done right, every piece of content works together, allowing the viewer to literally binge watch your channel. Plus, YouTube videos stay relevant for months if not years after you posted them. So every video becomes like a mini sales rep that works for you 24/7, which not only brings you in more and more people, but also nudges them and leads them down your ecosystem and funnel. That's way better than short form videos, which basically disappear after a few days. The second aspect is that YouTube videos are way more difficult to create. This might sound more of a downside to YouTube, but just hear me out. You need a good idea, a clear structure and script, editing, thumbnails. It's a lot more work, but that's also why it works so much better than short form in building trust, connection and authority. When someone watches, especially a well-produced YouTube video, they can feel all the effort you put in. It signals that you care, that you went that extra step and not only rely on easy to produce short form content. It shows that you're willing to invest time and effort into your brand and by extension your business. And if you're willing to do that, your offer will already seem way more credible. Speaking of production quality, if you make it to the end of this video and you still have questions about how you can create great YouTube videos that actually help your business, and maybe you also want to hear me out to see how I could take care of all of the production of your YouTube content, then you you can schedule a call with the top link in the description at the end of this video. The third aspect that gives YouTube videos such high ROI is that you actually have time to properly resolve an important problem. Instagram is only great for quick insights or small fixes. It's perfect for surface level awareness, small mindset nudges, or sparking curiosity in a topic. But the reality is that most meaningful problems your audience have can't be resolved in 30 seconds. They need context, they need explanation, they need to know why something works and not only what to do. And in most cases, they need a complete mindset shift of how they see their problem in the first place. That kind of depth just isn't possible in short form. Sure, you can point to the problem, but you can't properly resolve it. And that's exactly where YouTube wins. And the last aspect is that, as I explained earlier, storytelling is becoming more and more important in building that trust and connection. And it's very, very hard, if not near impossible, to properly combine storytelling and value in short form. You simply don't have the time. On YouTube, on the other hand, it's natural. You can open loops, present social proof, build tension, share personal stories, and a lot more, all in the same video. And when you combine that with value, you not only create that emotional connection, but you're also delivering value that actually sticks. These four elements is what gives YouTube insanely high ROI. But another very important point that makes me go all in on YouTube is that it actually saves me a ton of time. Instead of spreading my attention between reels, stories, DMs, YouTube videos, and my business, I can put all of my time and focus in just creating the best YouTube videos I can and getting the best results for my clients. And mastering YouTube and focusing all of my energy on it doesn't just help myself, it also helps my clients. The better and better I get at creating YouTube videos for myself, the better the videos that I produce for my clients will be and the better results they will get. But don't get me wrong, Instagram still has its place in social media funnels. Ideally, you want YouTube to be your top priority and use it to nurture people, and then use short form content to get as much attention as possible and lead them to YouTube. But the only problem with that is that you kind of need to hire an entire content team just to run it all. You can split your attention between two completely different content platforms and run your business on top of that. Because trust me, I've tried it. But I just ended with my calendar filled to the top and I still wasn't productive in anything. Simply because my attention was diluted between all of these different parts of my business. And this leads me to the last reason I chose to abandon Instagram and go all in on YouTube. And that is that my content here on YouTube is way more aligned with my values and how I want to run my business. I don't want to hire a big content team and delegate everything I can. I want to be in charge of my own content, because if I'm going to put my name on a piece of content, I want to make sure that it truly represents the way I think and how I operate. I don't want to turn this into a factory where my content is filtered through 5 layers of editors, managers, and freelancers who don't fully understand the vision. But if I'm going to do that, I might as well focus my time on the highest ROI content. And by the way, I apply the same philosophy to my business and clients. I choose to only work with a handful of clients and be very selective about them. This allows me to personally work on their content myself and not delegate everything to people halfway across the world once we get off the call. I want to be sure that the videos I produce for my clients are the best I possibly can deliver. They choose to work with me because they like my vision and my way of thinking, and I want to make sure that that's what they're getting. So that's why I quit Instagram and go all in on YouTube. But as I explained earlier, this doesn't mean that Instagram still doesn't have its place in social media funnels. Because what I've realized is that a ton of entrepreneurs kind of mastered Instagram and have a good amount of followers there, but then they simply don't have the time to also create YouTube videos. Or they know the power of YouTube and started putting out some videos, but then the quality and performance is nowhere near what it should be, because they quite frankly don't have a plan on what they're doing. So if that sounds like you and you want all of your YouTube content taken care of for you, you can schedule a call to chat directly with me with the top link in the description. I give you a clear plan on how you should use YouTube for your specific situation, and from there we'll see if it actually makes sense for us to work together. So I'm looking forward to chat with you soon, but if not, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.